All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a critical question about AI that, honestly, most organizations are completely ignoring. As companies race to bring in AI, they're measuring pretty much everything, except for the one skill that actually determines success or failure. I mean, this quote just nails it, right? The biggest risk with AI isn't some server crashing or a model breaking down. Nope. It's what happens when a real person interacts with that technology, especially when they're under pressure. And that's revealing a massive hidden risk in how we're all starting to work. So this brings us to a major blind spot in the age of AI. We are seeing these spectacular failures happen again and again, not because the AI is inherently bad, but because the collaboration, that dance between the human and the machine, is going completely unmeasured and unmanaged. And look, this isn't just some theoretical stuff. These are real stories. A law firm actually submitted a legal brief filled with fake cases and AI just made up. A company's hiring tool taught itself to be biased. A major financial report went out with totally unverified AI data. The really alarming part? In every single one of these cases, the traditional metrics, things like usage rates, probably looked fantastic. The failure was 100% human and behavioral. So why? Why does this keep happening? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. It's because we are obsessively, and I mean obsessively, measuring all the wrong things. We're tracking activity, but we're completely missing what really matters: capability. And this right here is the heart of the problem, what we can call the measurement blind spot. Your company can see that an employee uses an AI tool, say, 50 times a day. Great. But what they can't see is whether those 50 interactions were brilliant or if they were 50 tiny steps on the road to a complete disaster. We see how often people are using it, but we have absolutely no idea how well. This chart just highlights the huge gap. On the left, you've got what most companies are tracking: usage rates. Did they finish the training video? How many prompts per day? But on the right, that's what actually prevents a catastrophe: the skill to spot an AI error, to use good judgment, to notice when it's being biased, and, most importantly, the discipline to actually verify the information. I mean, these two columns are from different planets. And relying on these old metrics, it's not just ineffective, it's downright dangerous. A simple knowledge test can't measure your judgment, which leads to this false sense of confidence. Chasing productivity numbers without checking the quality of the work opens a company up to huge liability. It is a system perfectly designed to pile up risk without anyone even noticing it's happening. Okay, so if the old way is totally broken, what's the solution? Well, we need something completely new. The best way to think about it is like a driving test, but for working with AI, right? You don't get your driver's license just by reading the manual. You have to get in the car and prove you can handle it when things go wrong. And this is where a new framework called PAICE comes into the picture. The name stands for People plus Artificial Intelligence Collaboration Effectiveness, and its whole mission is to stop measuring simple activity and start actually quantifying the quality of that human-AI collaboration. The goal is to create something like a standardized FICO-like score for this incredibly important new skill. So how does it work? Well, it's not a boring multiple-choice quiz. It's actually a short, smart assessment where you work with an AI on a task that feels real. But here's the twist. The system is designed to fail on purpose. It'll throw in a subtle error or a slightly biased statement, and then it just watches what you do next. And this is maybe the most important takeaway of all. This assessment doesn't care what you know about AI theory. It only cares about what you do when the AI is confidently wrong. Do you question it? Do you go and verify it? Or do you just copy-paste and create a massive problem? That exact moment of failure, that's where true readiness is revealed. Now, the PACE framework doesn't just spit out a single number. It actually breaks this whole complex skill down into 5 core dimensions, which gives you a much richer, more detailed picture of a person's real capability. So these 5 areas, they cover the whole spectrum of what it means to be a good teammate with an AI. You've got performance, which is about how clearly you state your goals. Then accountability, that's catching the errors. Integrity is about making sure the output is actually true. Collaboration is that back and forth process. And finally, evolution is all about learning and getting better over time. But not all of these dimensions are created equal. The framework puts a much, much heavier weight on one specific area, and it's the one where the biggest danger is hiding. Accountability, that's right. The skill of detecting errors and actually verifying information makes up a massive 30% of the total score. So why? Well, it's simple. A single unverified piece of AI output can trigger legal disasters, PR nightmares, and huge financial damage. This is the one dimension where all the organizational risk is really concentrated. And get this, early data is showing a really startling trend, a major accountability gap. It turns out, across the board, people's scores for verification and error checking are consistently 10 to 20 points lower than their scores in the other areas. This is by far the hardest skill for us to master.
These scores are then organized into 5 distinct tiers of capability. This gives companies a really clear benchmark, moving from a constrained user who might need some basic training all the way up to an exceptional collaborator who can actually help design better human AI systems from the ground up.
So what does this actually look like in a real job? Well, it's the difference between diligence and disaster. A proficient financial analyst uses AI to help with a forecast, but then they go back and they double-check the AI's assumptions. A constrained analyst, they just see the optimistic numbers and run with them, no questions asked. And it's the same thing in marketing. A manager with a high accountability score gets a statistic from an AI, and their first question is, okay, what's the source for that? The low-scoring manager, they just pop it right into the press release. One of them is building trust, and the other is creating a PR nightmare waiting to happen. So, when you pull it all together, this isn't just another new metric for HR to track on a dashboard. This represents a fundamental shift in how organizations can approach AI safely and effectively. It's about moving from just guessing to actual governance. For any organization out there, this is the path forward. It lets you find your hidden risks before an incident happens. It means you can stop wasting money on those generic intro to AI courses and instead pour that budget into the specific skill gaps that actually matter. And it lets you create smarter policies, like maybe you only give the most advanced AI tools to people who have proven they can handle them responsibly. And this is absolutely critical for anyone in risk and compliance. In a world with new rules like the EU AI Act, just showing a training certificate is not going to cut it. Auditors and regulators are going to start asking for proof of competence. This is about building a defensible standard of care, proving that your people aren't just using AI, they're using it safely. Which leaves us with this one final thought to really chew on. As we all learn to work alongside these unbelievably powerful new tools, maybe the most valuable skill isn't about mastering the perfect prompt. Maybe, just maybe, it's about cultivating the wisdom and the discipline to know when to hit the brakes.